What's up? Back with another video. Following the video that I did about Chris Wyatt and his comments towards our parliament and Malema, he has responded, and his response reads as such: LOL, Malema is so clueless. Gaddafi was the biggest source of human intelligence on Terra network as he betrayed and ratted out all of his previous clients after 9/11. You really need a new gig. South Africa is, by its own actions, ineligible for AGOA. Yanni's propaganda is not about capitalism. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Wyatt, you really don't think that what I'm doing here is good and nice? An unemployed South African, a concerned citizen, engaging the politics of his country, a 35-year-old man coming into his proper adulthood, having cognizance, having an awareness, being conscious about the politics here and globally, watching as the world splits and realigns, and powers and their dynamics move around and reconfigure themselves. I could be out there drunk, I could be out there on drugs, I could be stealing from somebody. But look where I am. I'm in my office. I am speaking on matters that affect me. I am responding and engaging you and pretty much retweeting you and letting people know that there's a man out here who believes that he's got the best advice. Now, why does it seem like you object to being known by the broader South Africa? You know, the Bible teaches that a light or a source of light cannot be put under a bucket, or it should not. Rather, a light should be put out as high as possible, up on the hill or up on the mountain, so that the light can travel further in the darkness. So you, Mr. Wyatt, present yourself as an angel of light, somebody with some information that we need to follow. You're giving prescriptions to South Africans and their politicians, and I'm not seeing them engaging you in your comments. Maybe they're too busy. Maybe your channel hasn't grown enough for them to actually pay attention. So you've reached me though. I can see your stuff. I watch your stuff. You've interviewed some young black South Africans. You've given them praise. Young black South African YouTubers, I should clarify. And I'm another such YouTuber. I'm spreading your message. Your message is allowed. I cannot prevent you from speaking on South African issues. It's your liberty. It's your freedom. You can do so. You do not have any media credentials whatsoever. But it seems really those things are becoming archaic. Citizen journalism is what Elon Musk has allowed us to now participate in, right? And so is the medium of YouTube for people to speak and comment on their issues. So why should I get another gig? Why shouldn't I engage with you? You know, people in the comments say that you are a certain person. Let me read you something. Somebody said, Colonel Chris Wyatt is a retired NSA intelligence and counterintelligence agent in the USA with strong ties and knowledge of South Africa, as well as more countries where he has served before. See? Yeah. Others have said that you are a CIA, something like that. Now see, somebody here has asked the question: why will the removal of AGOA escalate tension? We need to start advancing and finding alternatives that do not depend on other countries. Africa's dependence on the West is concerning. Even after so many years, we have not learned that we cannot depend on Western countries. They have never had good intentions for the Black continent, but continue to loot our land. And it seems there's a number of back and forths over here. I thought you'd be in here. You're not. Okay, here is one reply from someone. The West is not the problem. Africa's corruption and selfish nature is. Communism pushed by the fool Julius Malema will just lead to more mass deaths, as proven every single time where communism was implemented. The next one says, AGOA has stipulations to belong to AGOA. With expropriation without compensation coming into Act, SA does not qualify anymore. And then the same person who told us that Wyatt is a former NSA is in these comments, in this thread, and he says, under the AGOA agreement between agriculture, textile, and the automotive industry, South Africa enjoys a zero tariff export and import treaty. It supplies work to over 500,000 workers. And then the originator of the question responds, my point is that we would need to start developing programs and having trade agreements with other countries. That way we'll not depend on the US. Hey, tell me, I'll read some more comments here, but why is everybody so intent on keeping us in AGOA while they are making threats at the same time? I mean, why don't you pull everything? Yeah, why don't you pull everything? People are crying for their independence. People are trying to find a way. We perhaps want to feel the pinch. We want to be unassisted so that we can stand up. If you want to help us, why don't you have the spirit of helping? If you're giving free money, why does it come with conditions where you now start to stipulate what our laws should be and should not be? I think there's some smell here of dragon breath. Somebody seems to be really lying and misrepresenting things. Why are you guys not excited? The United States, Mr. Chris Wyatt there. Why aren't you excited about pulling and taking your stuff and looking the other way away from South Africa and letting whatever happen to us? Why are you actually concerned with force feeding us and telling us that we need your aid when the people in parliament are saying that it's not necessary? What is the contention there? Could you be clear? Do you want to give us aid? Do you desire to give us aid? Do you have a need to give us aid? Do you believe that we have a need for all of your aid and trade deals? You are scared for us falling apart? Maybe then you'll quote this video when South Africa goes to crap, and I don't know what a country looks like when it's falling apart. The electricity is a sign. The potholes in the state of Johannesburg seems to be a sign. So let's surf the wave. Pull out AGOA. Who suffers most there? Why do you always talk about the employees suffering? What about the board? What about those who actually have their signatures and supply these chickens to the United States? The white people, the business owner. I think that you've got an inability to say goodbye and rip your stuff away because people like you are going to suffer. White people are going to suffer. So you are sort of also begging for AGOA to stay for their benefit. You are speaking on their benefit. You are an activist for AGOA staying in South Africa. You are an activist for South Africa continuing relations with the United States. But why do you have a bad attitude? If you are such an angel and you've brought us nice things, why don't you act like it? Why do you have some sort of strange animosity? Your slogan is fuck around and find out. Is that from a person who wants to give aid? You are aiding people with a gangster rapper attitude? Man, Americans are strange people. So, and then the other comment, we understand that part, but then why should we be upset for them not renewing the agreement? We could have structured a new trade channel. And then another comment. You do understand that with the loss of AGOA, a lot of American companies will close shop in South Africa, leading to even more job losses, estimated over 1 million. When sanctions come, all will close. KFC, McDonald's, Ford, General Motors, Stans, American Swiss, Apple, Microsoft, Bell Equipment, Caterpillar, Walmart, Macro, and Builders Warehouse, Devi, Samsung, IBM, Google, Meta, Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, and about 600 more. Now, I want to understand whose detriment is all of this. I understand entrepreneurship. I understand the desire for capitalists, for these business owners that you're listing, to go to foreign markets outside of the United States. They have a desire to be here. And these are not politicians, by the way. These are tech companies, providers of fast-moving consumer goods, food, luxury, automobiles, social media, etc. They have a market here worth billions. You are telling me that capitalists would just vacate a profitable market like this in Africa? Man, that means that there's no one then in Africa. Where else would these companies continue to exist on the African continent? Where else with such success? Can they go get it in Ghana? Can somebody really explain, man? It seems like these sanction things are all scare tactics, man. I want to get under sanctions. I want to see something. I really, really, really want to see something. I really want to see, in such a developed world, in such a highly competitive market, I want to see the Americans decide to sanction South Africa, pull out all of their companies. And I want to see what happens with the Chinese. Are you really saying that there'll be a vacuum? You're saying that the data centers that Microsoft has locally, they'll just shut down office and leave? You're saying that Builders Warehouse, Walmart, with stock in their shops, with customers ready to buy the following day, 2 days before month end, will decide to just close? Employees will just be retrenched. There'll be no supply of building equipment to the black people and the white people. Why would Americans do that to white people? I think you're trying to scare the blacks here, but all of this is a disaster for white people. It's a serious disaster. Black people who are used to poverty will continue to bear. The white people whose business and margins are really scraping the bottom, whose businesses are just merely surviving by a margin of 10% or so. With sanctions, their business will just be wiped out. They'll be forced to close. They won't afford to pay their employees. Are you guys holding the threat of sanctions over the heads of black people or the white people as well? It seems the white people are happy, saying, yeah, bring sanctions. Do they really want sanctions? Are white people in South Africa bluffing? When the Afro Forum is speaking sanctions, the promise of sanctions, the threat of sanctions, are they ready and wanting that? Or are they saying, please, South Africa, show your hand, before I do mine? That's how I really think that it is. And then somebody says, I agree 100%, but our government has their own interests and be the victim rather than planning for the economic future of this country. They've milked the cow dry. They've started eating the cow now. African leaders need to take care of their countries and their people, but they've ignored that mandate. Then another response, but clearly it shows how the ANC has been running our country. Being dependent on one source of income is dangerous, they say. Another one from him as well. But then they could have thought of this before going against America and not ensuring our people jobs and all that. Okay, we'll drop it right there. So, Mr. Chris Wyatt, welcome to South Africa. You will be known. You will be heard. I hope you like it and I hope you appreciate it. You are speaking on matters of our country. Everyone else, hope you like, hope you subscribe, hope you share, and hope you comment, as I'll be bringing you these facts about what is happening in the world right now as we split, and the moves being done by our government and our leaders are showing that BRICS is on the horizon and the United States has a sore thumb about it. So we will see what happens. We are in this country and what happened will happen. And on the day that it does happen, we'll be right here sitting, giving you the news. I'll see you next time.